traveled to the western shore of the Sea of Galilee to a location known as Cursi. A 5th century Byzantine church was once here that also acted as a monastery where monks lived and prayed at a site they considered holy. It's hard to believe that this was once a frightening place to the disciples of Jesus who came here and encountered Satan. As the epitome of all that is evil, Satan had access to legions of demons that numbered a third of the angels in heaven. Satan could tempt and motivate spiritual and physical forces with his arsenal of lies, slander, and deceit. So what did Jesus experience when he encountered this evil on earth? And how did he feel facing off with his longtime adversary, Satan? Jesus got off the boat with his disciples, and he was greeted by a demon-possessed man. It's the most famous demonic encounter Jesus had faced. They had to be frightening for those who were unfamiliar with the spirit world. That's why I've come here. The story of the demon-possessed man found in Mark probably occurred in this area.
It is a land that's considered by many to be out of the Holy Land. It was different not only geographically, but also in the term of who lived here. Jews were from the Jordan River and to the west, maybe a little bit to the east, like Bethsaida, but here were others. And for those people, the Jews of the time, including Christ, the others were people that one should avoid getting in touch with because they are not pure.
The Bible text reads that a man ran up to them. He lived in the tombs and had a strength that broke chains. And he cut himself with stones, and he wailed and cried in the hills all night. When Jesus arrived, the man fell before them, and the demons inside introduced themselves to Jesus as legion, for they were numerous. They asked to be cast into a herd of pigs. Those pigs stampeded and threw themselves into the sea. This is a pretty evil scene because we're talking tombs, which are considered unclean, a demoniac who's possessed by the demon. You have herds of pigs, you have Gentiles, and you have the water, which is referred to as an abyss, and was something that was feared by them.
For sure it was quite an evil scene. For the common person, even just to go to the Gentile area was already bad. Coupled with the tombs and the demoniacs, and maybe also the water, that would be a bad area to go to.
When reading the passages, I notice how calm and cool Jesus reacts around these very frightening incidents. He did not succumb to the craziness of the situation and showed any panic or loss of control. Jesus understood his authority in this situation. He had confidence.
I don't see any fear in his relationship to the demonic at all, because I think he recognizes there's no rivals here.
If anything, I see the demons panicking and fleeing after Jesus tells them to get out.
That angels are irredeemable by nature once they make their decision. They're condemned and condemned justly, and so he didn't have any problem in accepting their ultimate doom.
Here's part of the thing about Lucifer. This part of the thing about Satan. He's got the most frustrating job in the world. He can come up with any suggestion he wants, and God will say, you know what, I could use that. That's perfect. That'll work for me. And you know, what are you going to do? I'm sure he has not come up with one idea that God has said, oh man, we weren't expecting that. Oh boy, what are we going to do? You know, this is it. He's not a rival. He's not a rival. And so therefore, there is nothing that he can bring to the table that God can't weave into the tapestry of his purposes. That's got to be frustrating. I mean, maybe that's why the demonic is so mad.
Well, many times people desire more convincing proof that God is real before they give their lives to him. Well, angels have all the proof they need, and they knew God existed and they dwell in the same spiritual realm as him. The book of James says that even demons believe and they shudder. They know that God is real, but still they turn their backs on him. How did all that happen? What evidence or case could Satan possibly make that sounded good enough to throw away their eternity?
The only answer is pride, jealousy. They want to be higher than he is. That was Lucifer's temptation. according to the Bible, that he, the most beautiful of the stars, was jealous and wanted to be the greatest star. So I think the angels just didn't feel important enough. And so Lucifer, who set the pace for the rest, would rather be without God than be second place to God.
If Satan is the epitome of pride, then Jesus must be the antithesis of pride, humility. And I see that humility in the way he reached out to the demon-possessed. While society cast the demon-possessed out of their towns, Jesus traveled to them no matter where they lived. He didn't let borders stop his compassion for others. How were the sick and the demon-possessed treated in that time?
It seems for the people then that there is no hope to cure them. And since they were really possessed by demons, you better not be in touch with them. And many of them would be expelled out of the community and had to find a way to survive on their own.
He focuses on the humanity that he has created and the rescuing of them. I see compassion in everything he does.
Jesus did not like to see the innocent suffer, and he exhibited his power to see his people released. Every exorcism was an act of love, saving the innocent from the guilty.
I think God is disappointed anytime anybody settles for second best and tries to strike out on life without God. And again, I think that's what sin is, to disobey or disregard God. Sometimes we know what he says and we just defy it. Sometimes we just say, I'm going to lead a life without God. And that's what Satan was, that's what Lucifer tried to do. It's what we try to do, is lead a life without God, a godless life. And yeah, that breaks God's heart.